Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. We are going to learn the first biology lesson under the third midterm lesson content, which is respiration. As you can see, I have clearly stated the learning objectives of this lesson that we are going to achieve after completing the lesson. We should be able to describe the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We should be able to understand how the process of respiration produces ATP in living organisms. We should know that ATP provides energy for cells. We should know the word equation and balance chemical symbol equation for aerobic respiration as well as the word equation for anaerobic respiration. And finally, we should be able to investigate the emission of carbon dioxide and heat from respiring seeds or other suitable living organisms. What is respiration? Respiration is broadly defined as a chemical reaction in cells that breaks down nutrients to release energy. And it's important for you to understand the presence of enzymes are absolutely necessary in order for these reactions to occur. The energy that is derived from respiration is used for things like muscle contraction, protein synthesis, cell division, active transport, growth, passage of nerve impulses, and also for the maintenance of constant body temperature. Keep in mind that respiration is an exothermic reaction because it releases energy. When it comes to respiration, there are two different types. First one is aerobic respiration. It does require oxygen. It occurs in the mitochondria and it produces more ATP than anaerobic respiration. The second one is anaerobic respiration. It doesn't require oxygen and it occurs in the cytoplasm. Adenosine triphosphate or ATP is often referred to as the currency of energy or the energy store in biological systems. So at first, if we take a look at the molecular structure of ATP, it seems to be a bit complex. But if we break it down into its constituent parts, it will be more easy for you to understand. Adenine is a nitrogenous base and in ATP it's connected to a ribose sugar molecule. Collectively it's known as the adenosine part. As you can see, this adenosine part is combined with three phosphoryl groups. The bonds between these phosphoryl groups are high energy bonds. It means the electrons involved in these bonds are in a higher energy state. If these bonds break, the electrons involved in these bonds will go to a more comfortable state, in other words, into a lower state of energy that will release us energy. So, during hydrolysis of ATP, the final phosphoryl group will get plucked off and it will become a phosphate molecule. Then you will get an ADP or adenosine diphosphate molecule as a result. Putting a phosphoryl group back onto the ADP molecule will give you an ATP molecule. So why ATP? Biological systems transfer the energy in glucose to ATP because unlike glucose, ATP releases its energy instantly in a single reaction. The hydrolysis of ATP releases a small amount of energy which is ideal for fueling reactions in the body. So moving on, we are looking at aerobic respiration. It's defined as the chemical reaction which uses oxygen to break down sugar molecules to release energy. As you can see, I have clearly stated the balanced chemical symbol equation for aerobic respiration. One molecule of sugar will react with 6 molecules of oxygen and it will produce 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water as well as energy. Now, when we take a look at anaerobic respiration, it's defined as the chemical reaction which breaks down nutrient molecules to release energy, but most importantly, without the use of oxygen. Generally, if oxygen is available, organisms will undergo aerobic respiration. This is because in most cases, anaerobic respiration is less efficient than aerobic respiration. When we talk about efficiency, we are talking about the fact that the anaerobic respiration produces less energy per molecule of glucose than aerobic respiration. That's why we mention it as less efficient, because the oxidation of glucose is incomplete when it comes to anaerobic respiration. In plant cells and yeast cells, glucose is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Anaerobic respiration in yeast cells is called as fermentation. Yeast fermentation is important in industries like bakery industry. So let's get a clear idea about oxygen depth and how the body involves the process of repaying oxygen depth. When we are exercising, our body needs to carry out more cellular respiration. The reason for this is that all exercises requires to move our muscles more than usual, and any muscular contraction is going to require a lot of energy. In order to get more energy, we need more oxygen to our muscles. To achieve this, the rate of breathing and the volume of each breath have to be increased. We need to pump the oxygen throughout the body more quickly than usual. So our heart rate will also increase, which again is going to require more energy. With all these increased efforts that we are putting in, it will mean that we can supply enough oxygen to all our muscles by using aerobic respiration. But sometimes when we are sprinting or cycling really fast, or maybe doing some sort of a vigorous exercise, there won't be enough oxygen to keep up the demands. And then the body starts respiring anaerobically. Even though it's less efficient, if there is no spare oxygen, it's the best option that our body could go for. Anaerobic respiration will produce lactic acid as a product which will give you the burning sensation in the muscles when you do vigorous exercises. However, once you have finished doing exercising, your body needs to get rid of all the lactic acid by reacting with oxygen. The more lactic acid you build up, the more oxygen you will need, and we call it as an oxygen depth. In fact, the oxygen depth can be repaid by breathing heavily. For this reaction to take place, our blood carries the lactic acid from the muscles over to the liver, where it can be converted into glucose, and it can react with oxygen and can be converted into glycogen and stored in muscles. In the next slide, you can see a small demonstration to prove that the carbon dioxide has been produced by small living organisms during respiration. As you can see in this given apparatus, hydrogen carbonate indicator solution is used, which is normally orange in color, but it will turn into yellow color whenever the carbon dioxide concentration gets increased. It is an indicator which is sensitive to minute changes in carbon dioxide concentrations. When you keep the setup for some time, you will be able to observe a color change as the small organisms such as woodlice or maggots starts to respire and emit carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is considered as a waste product in respiration. When you want to demonstrate that heat is produced during respiration, we can simply use these given apparatus. Flask A has got germinating seeds which are live and respiring, and flask B has got boiled and dead seeds because all the enzymes have been denatured as it was exposed to heat. And you will see, if you leave these two separate apparatus for few hours, the germinating seeds in flask A will start to release heat as a waste product of respiration. It's an exothermic reaction, so the heat is basically given off. So simply we can say the thermometer reading of A will increase with time. So in this slide I have given you some questions. So as the first question, which flask showed the higher temperature at the end of this experiment? So you have to explain your answer. you will probably find the flask with the live seeds that will have the highest thermometer reading because they were generating heat as they are respiring. So why it's important to kill any bacteria or fungi on these seeds? So that we know any heat produced has come from only the seeds inside the flask, not from any other living organisms. So to justify that, we have to kill any bacteria or fungi on the seeds. So the third question, why should the flasks should not be completely filled with seeds? Because they will need some air space to allow them to get oxygen. That's the reason for that. Moving on to the fourth question, not all of the energy produced by the respiring seeds is given off as heat. What happened to the rest of it? So the energy released inside the seeds is used for making new cells or new tissues as the seeds germinate. So try to do the unit question number 6 and number 9, which are in page number 35 and 36 respectively in your Edexcel International GCSE Biology Student Book. So hope you enjoy the lesson and thank you for being here with me today.